to the Samurais of Sound roleplay workout. At Samurais of Sound, us voice actors, we meet regularly and we hone our improvisation and character skills through some roleplay in the style of maybe a Dungeons and Dragons session or a D&D stream. You may have seen some of those in the past. We do things a little more simply and focus on our acting and our voice acting especially, of course. So thanks for tuning in, those of you watching from the stream. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. And I'm joined, my name is Austin David Coffey. I'm the production manager for Samurais of Sound and Strawberry Hill Studio, which is where I'm sitting right now. And I'm joined by, also from Strawberry Hill Studio, Scarlett Lemieux, who is sitting in the next room and is going to be doing some moderating for us. Welcome, Scarlett. And Scarlett says hello in the chat. And also by our outreach coordinator, James Passamonte. Welcome, James. A lot of note takers, automated note takers joining. Welcome, James. And let's see, also a couple of Samurais of Sound and Roleplay Workout veterans. Vinny, welcome, Vinny.
Thank you for having me. I have been looking forward to this for quite some time.
Excellent, I love that. And of course, Chris Saito Joe, welcome, Chris.
Hello, hello, hello.
I want to give people a couple more minutes. We had a few more people registered. There were some technical difficulties with the registration that may have been an obstacle for some folks accessing the role play. So have an eye on my emails if that's the case for anybody, as well as the streaming chats. And I'll just give people a couple more minutes. And we plan on role-playing until 6:30 p.m. Pacific time this evening. It'll be short and sweet. And I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it, of course. Well, I think that we should go ahead and get started. Again, I would like to emphasize just using the character tracker. It's designed to make your life easier. And if there are improvements that you have, I know there were some suggestions when I first implemented it that I still have yet to iterate on, but I plan on doing that when I can. And let's see. Okay, so once again, we're playing Voices and Choices. Chris and Vinny, you guys know how to play. It's quite simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to focus more on picking up where we left off. I think in the last session it was Vinny, you were there. Not sure.
Was,
I don't
yes.
think Chris was there.
No.
Chris was not. I wrapped him around my back like a backpack.
Ah, that's right. So let's say to set the scene here that Vinny, the party are being escorted up the winding staircase that comprises the interior of the fairy tree, enormous tree of life type situation, with the hopes that the fairy guards hoping that you will share with the court what has transpired in the last few hours in terms of an encounter of epic proportions between two deity-like entities that you have intercepted as a party. So with that in mind, let's say that we are emerging into the canopy, the Verdant Throne courtroom, which is really just the canopy of this tree of life. And as we're recapping the session, let's say that we are also recapping the events that transpired to Veyrana, who is the often blindfolded fairy seer queen of this tribe. You're also joined by a human, Paula, who you met in the last session. She is also another tribal leader of the now tribe. It used to be a more codified community of Laura's character's backstory, Cree, until their village was destroyed by Silserpo, and they've since been living in the wake of Silserpo's excess, essentially. Of course, he hunts enormous prey like woolly mammoths and the like. So this tribe of people has learned to live off of the excess of this snake, and Paula has come with you to represent her perspective. And anything else? JC's in the waiting room. Anything else that you would add, Vinny, either in character or otherwise, as we are in this courtroom?
Great Fae, I have seen many a great fighting in this short time I've joined this campaign. There was a serpent, a flying gigantic serpent that took down a magnificent bird. And unfortunately, it succumbed to its wounds. Cree, wherever she may be, was very valiant in helping the young ones, their offspring. Find some comfort in her. We have named her Mama Bird now, as she will be forever known as. And I didn't realize the snake was going to be so big, so I'm a little bit surprised by everything that's going on. I have to say that it's been quite the experience in the short time we've been here. We found...
This is just for the DM. So
Mhm.
I'm a little confused. Did we find the phoenix, or did we find a hawk? Because I kind of was unsure about that.
Yeah, we can call it a phoenix. It is a phoenix or a hawk, some bird-like entity associated with fire that was doing battle with Sir Serpo and intercepted its hunting of the woolly mammoth.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to be because we kept going back and forth between hawk and phoenix.
Well, we found out that if you throw the heart of a phoenix into flame, it doesn't quite resurrect as we thought it would. So that's new. Hopefully, you can explain to us better how to help the offspring become, better versions of themselves. And that's what I can report. It's been a very eye-opening experience.
Veyrana, without removing her blindfold, says, "Thank you, Sean Ronnery, for your valiant service. And as you can see," and she kind of gestures with her hand in front of you, "we have moved the eggs. We have been watching as best we can from the branches, and we have moved what is left of the eggs. I believe one of them has hatched, as you mentioned, but the remaining two have been placed here in the courtroom below the nest to ensure their safekeeping as best we can. As I understand that, Silserpo, if he has returned, is on the loose, and something is going to have to be done about that. We may have to make immediate preparations for what is to come."
Lady.
So tell me, do you have any tomes of Silserpo and how that one may defeat her? Or him? I'm not quite sure.
Refresh my memory, Vinny, about what there was an exchange between you and the fairies. What was the nature of that exchange exactly?
So me and the Fae, I do not care for the Fae at all.
Mm.
Um, All right. Fuck it. So the thing is, the Fae actually took my sister, but when I was about 4 years old, and I have been trying to get in good with the Fae so I can go through the Fae realm and rescue her from her state. She is still in a perpetual 4 years old, so I don't trust the Fae at all, and I just want to get close enough so I can go into the Fae realm and get her out. Didn't want to reveal that, but eh.
Okay, no, that's good. So then what I'm gonna have you do is make a charisma skill check to see if we can maneuver that. You can maneuver those feelings and set them aside enough to be persuasive enough to convince the queen to part with her resources, right?
Right. All right, so I'm gonna roll DC 20.
Mhm.
See what we got. That is a lucky 13.
All right. Verona looks at you and with her blindfold on still, and says, "It just so happens, Sean, that we do have some materials at our disposal." And she gestures towards one of the scribes who's seated and gets up, and it's a humble library, but we do have some resources. And he comes back, this fairy that she has sent, with a couple of dusty scrolls, and hands them to you. And they have illustrations of this bird. Was it the bird you were asking about, or the
No, Cercerpo.
Cercerpo?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I want to know, like, how do we defeat it? Do we need the Phoenix to do this? I mean, like, I know nothing. That's the issue.
So what you would learn as you sort of peruse these scrolls is that the Phoenix has been a guardian of sorts for the Fae, but also the people at large, although largely sometimes unbeknownst to the various populations of the world, but has been doing battle with this serpent for time immemorial, and is periodically defeated by the beast, but it's pretty unusual for that to happen.
I have an idea.
Verona looks towards Verhelius.
You ever heard of a Gardigan?
I'm afraid not. Do explain.
The stories we talk about at home. The Gardigan was a very, very diabolical creature to the likes of Heracles. So what they would do is they would cut off the head of the Gardigan, and they would use the Gardigan's ability to turn those into stone. So all we need is a head of a Gardigan.
I agree. That would be most helpful to us at this time. And then Paula, the human ranger lady who's been standing with you, interjects, and she says, "I'm afraid that, Verona, you don't understand. I've lived under the shadow of this serpent, tracked it for years. I've picked up what it's left behind. Cercerpo is nothing short of death incarnate. At least it has been. That has been my experience. And if you stay, you will die with this tree. If you tarry on unnecessary quests, it will be too late. Without the Firebird, there is no hope. You must take the hatchlings. You must flee this tree, and maybe they'll survive. It's the only choice that, well, leaves you breathing." And then Verona has been looking in Paula's direction with her head tilted to one side. She says, "Human, if I may." And then she sort of also gestures towards her people, the delegates of the court that are assembled. "Fleeing will save nothing. If the clutch dies, the rest of this world will follow suit. Do you not know what it feels like to have a home, a place you belong, rooted as much in your soul as in soil? This tree is ours, our cradle, our crown. And then she turns towards the party and she says, "Tell me, travelers, do you carry such a place in your hearts?" And she kind of looks at the black flowers that are growing out of Resonetta and Sean's chest. "Or have you left such a place behind, forgotten it?"
Resonetta, who's been standing silently, listening to all this, she doesn't make eye contact, but she does say loud enough for everyone to hear. "It is because I hold such a place in my heart that I am here now. My people worshipped Silserpo, treated it like a god, until some unknown corruption began eating away at it, at the forest, at my people. For the longest time I could not remember them. And all this talk of putting down Silserpo, who is inexplicably alive, and having this thing," she gestures at the little firehawk chick, "telling me that we rely on Silserpo's sworn enemy to put it down. I am left with many conflicting feelings, but I refuse to run away from this anymore."
Faye, I am not long for this earth, but I am willing to stand and fight for a bargain.
"Very well. State your terms."
The tome that I possess, that Cree has been holding dear to her, will give me potential greater strength. I will need that. But I will also need one favor from you, that you cannot refuse me. No matter what it is, no matter what I ask, you must give it to me. And by doing so, I will help this party succeed, and I will dedicate the rest of my life to you.
I also have a request. But it is a wish. I am aware that one of your fairies have a wish, and it can grant me one wish. And I will do it. But in exchange for that wish, for Silserpo is only the beginning of this. But that's a story for another day. Silserpo will be another serpent crushed by the boots of mine.
"You will not speak so lightly of Silserpo. It may be the start for you, but this is a finish for me."
I kill monsters for a living, sweetheart. You have no idea what kind of monsters I've seen.
Veyrana steps in at this juncture and she says, "Allow me to address these propositions sequentially. Sean Ronnery, in exchange for your allegiance, yes, we will give you what you want." And this, you can tell, is a little outside her comfort zone, but having rubbed her the right way, as it were, with your previous proposition, she's going to acquiesce. And then turns to Virgilius and says, "It is true of what you speak, this wish. We were afforded one, and we have guarded it jealously since the elder days. We will not part with it easily, I will say that. But what I will say also is that your valor will not go unrewarded in the coming fight. And
Because
if it
I
is
know-
true what you say, and you possess the strength to vanquish enemies as powerful as the Gorgon, summon all the strength you have now, and please help us."
Of course. The wish will be simple, but also I need to locate another Gorgon.
I cannot make any promises, but
Serpent ladies. The ones that turn you to stone. Like Medusa.
understood. Paula, the human, at this juncture steps forward and she says, "You can't be serious. You're actually thinking about fighting?" I'm sorry,
Woman.
but I don't think that we... And she stops when she hears Sean.
Woman, listen to me very carefully. I have given half of my life, of what was left, to my very tall 6'5" friend over here. I have a driving goal, and I will not allow anything in my way to stop me from accomplishing it. Do you want to know why I am even negotiating with the Fae? Fine, let us have it. The Fae, I don't like. I have never cared for you. Since the day I could walk, you have taken something more precious to me than anything in this whole world combined. You have taken away my sister, Sherry. My Sherry. A changeling from your Fae realm came through the Nether and took her away from me. She changed. She took her away. And she kept her as 4 years old in the Netherworld. In the Fae realm, and I have tried everything that I could to bring her back, but I can't. So yes, woman, I will stand and fight, and I will rip that damn snake's heart apart with my own bare hands if it means I can get closer to Sherry. Or damn near die trying. So don't get in my way, or you will be next. I may not be a young man anymore, but I have enough venom in my fingers that will rip you from limb if you even utter another word. We are going to fight. You can stay, you can go, I don't care. But do not think for one moment I will allow you to get in the way of my goal.
I admire your convictions. They are quite stirring and... Very well. I will do what I can, what my people can, to help you with this effort. It will be at great cost to us, rest assured. But even still, I will stand with you. And Verana looks towards you and says, "Well then, it is time we make preparations. We haven't a moment to spare. Please, adventurers, tell us, how would you begin such a monumental fortification?" Gestures broadly to the tree.
Well, for starters, let us get the basic maneuvers. The Gargan is a very, very powerful creature. One look into her eyes, and you are stone from your soul, and bound to the chains of the Hades. So we need at least 2 Gargan heads. Do you understand?
Bambi, do you think we have time to go on a side quest to find a mythical beast that could be anywhere in this whole planet and then be back in time to fight Sesepol? Do you really
Yes.
think we have that time?
Yes, they're not so far from
Verano,
us.
how much time do we have?
Verana would answer not very much. But however, I will say Virgilius, and I've been thinking actually more about the game and how people have not been taking advantage of the gold mechanic. And so what I've come up with is, if there's an item your character, it doesn't make sense for them to have really, you can spend your gold in the moment to have acquired that item. Now, something like a Gorgon, that would be the Gorgon. The head of a Gorgon would be exceedingly rare. So I don't know how much gold you have, and maybe you haven't been keeping track. But if you want to reset your gold back to 0, then I will say that your character will have a Gorgon head.
Yes. This is beauty right here. As I present to the crowd. Don't look in her eyes. She may not look like a lot, but when you give her a little wake-up call, the entire room turned into stone. I found her on my trip all the way here. Believe it or not, these things are hard to get out of. A
And
couple of travelers were not so lucky.
Veyrana says, very noble indeed, but please cover the eyes. Not everyone wears a blindfold as I do. And then also, I believe we are joined by Kaylin O'Malley. Welcome, Kaylin, fellow Samurai Sound member. I think this might be your first roleplay workout. It's good to see you. And I will say, there's obviously, we're in the middle of the story. There's a lot going on. Don't be afraid to jump in. If you brought a character in mind, or you see an opportunity to create or play a character mentioned, let's think about it in those terms first and foremost, and then we can talk about like stats and stuff more secondary. But I will say that if you follow this link in the chat, there is a character tracker you can access, so that once you have your character, I may ask you like, what's your good skill, or we can talk about what that skill is, and we can set the stats after the fact versus trying to plan it all out before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't have any characters in mind right now. I'm just kind of seeing what it's like, just kind of watching. I'm not sure how I'd get the character thing down right now. I don't know how to add it in, but
well, briefly, most of the characters are a part of a peacekeeping organization called the Order of Echoes that's been tasked with a quest that actually was wrapped up a while back, and they've yet to actually touch base with the Order, but have become wrapped up, embroiled in this other conflict between this big giant snake who's now on its way to this tree inhabited by fairies, and it's kind of a big deal. So, but to re-enter back into the story, Veyrana says, we have no time to waste. Please give the orders. I believe Virgilius mentioned something about fortifying the base of the tree. Is that the case?
Fortify the tree. Use blessed silver. Be sure to use spikes of blessed silver, so that way every time the serpent comes up, it pierces itself.
We have to be careful because we do have Fae. Fae are death allergic to iron. Wait, you silver? Silver will be good, yeah. Okay.
I, for one, am opposed to killing Sirsopo outright. I agree that it needs to be subdued, and non-fatal injuries only.
I'm sorry, but sacrifices have to be made for the greater good.
Not this time.
Okay. So how do you propose that we subdue this gigantic snake? Tell me, what is your plan?
We use this, and she holds up the Firebird chick. We use this as bait to lure it to a place that will not, to a place where it cannot damage this tree. Once there, I believe my connection will be enough to at least calm it for a moment.
And if it fails?
Then I am prepared to do what must be done. And she touches the black lily at her chest, giving you a look too, Sean, about this black lily. The last time we touched on it was when we shared it. I shared some of the corruption, but as far as she knows, it's just a feeling that this is somehow going to play a role in this.
And as as you're saying these words and gesturing with the lily, you feel a proximity far below on the forest floor of a similar magical corruption, and there is a stirring among some of the more attuned Fae who begin to call out, "Something's wrong at the roots of the tree."
We have no time.
I'll run down. I'll climb down to figure out what's going on.
Okay. It's a pretty dense canopy of branches, and you're able to maneuver down. There's also a network of hanging bridges between in addition to the inner spiral staircase. And as you're maneuvering down these branches and these hanging bridges, at the base of the tree, let's say maybe you pause some 50 feet above the forest floor, and what you see is the roots of the verdant throne, which is the name of the tree, are trembling as something vast is pushing through the undergrowth below. And from the canopy walkways, you see other trees toppling and soil churning like waves in a storm. And a serpentine head of 6 eyes bursts from the shadows, and its black scales are slick with greasy venom-like substance, and its 6 eyes are burning like coals in the darkness that has now descended upon the forest. The air fills with the stench of rot and poison as Sil Serpo lashes forward onto the tree, fangs sinking into the verdant throw's lower roots. The bark blackens instantly, veins of corruption racing upwards into the trunk, and with a hiss that rattles the branches, the serpent rears back. Its enormous body rises higher and higher towards you, and then begins to wind around the verdant throne's trunk.
Resonetta will immediately jump into action. I'd like to jump onto Sil Serpo. I guess I'd be aiming for the head. If not the head, then just get on its body somehow.
Okay. Yeah, definitely that will be a dexterity check.
And then given all of my bonuses and like stat sheet, I think it's just a flat D20 roll.
Okay.
Let's go. Oh, that is a 19.
There we go.
All right.
Good man.
You judiciously jump off the right bridge at the right time, and as Sil Serpo is making its way towards the trunk, having lifted its head from the roots, you're able to land wherever it is you desire on the face of the beast.
Mm-hmm. As I'm sort of like falling down, I call up to the rest of the party. Get around and start injuring it. Do not kill. And I land on Sil Serpo's head. I make my way to one of its eyes, and I just sort of hang there, and I stare at it, and I say, Sil Serpo, you may not care for the woes of mortal lives, but what you are doing is the antithesis of what you were born for. You must stop this. This corruption must end.
You hear this enormous hiss as the head rears back again under you, and with your dexterity check at a was that a 19? You're able to maintain your footing, and as the head moves, you're able to get a better look at the roots of the tree, which are rapidly just being encrusted in this blackness. The rest of the party stirring into action, but this snake is just hissing, and its eye that you're looking into is just narrowing at you, and it looks like it's rearing up to try to strike, although there's not much it can do about you being on its face.
So since I'm like down there and I can see this, I have no other choice. I open the tome of the lycanthrope. I read an incantation and I transform into a 6'1" werewolf. And then I just start attacking and then I bay at the smell of the predator, and then I start attacking its face. I start attacking one of its eyes.
Okay, and as you do so, you're informed by the other tome that you procured, and I want to touch on the antithesis word choice that Bayonetta used. Perhaps what might Chris, what might Sean Ronnery have gleamed as far as context around Sil Serpo's mission or creation that would make this an antithesis of its purpose?
Sil Serpo, so through the black lily on our chests, Sean would have gained a portion of the memories that Resonetta had lost, but then
Yeah.
regained. Silserpa was the guardian of her forest, and as far as Silserpo's fight with the Firebird, Resonetta and her people were not aware of that. So they worshipped Silserpo as a guardian deity, and they believed that it was there to protect their forest, to provide life, to provide its resources. They would occasionally make sacrifices to it to keep it appeased, and what they believed, would continue their abundance. Long story short, some corruption came over the tree where Silserpa was sleeping. The entire forest, the entire population completely wiped out, except for Resonetta, where she realized the black lily was on her chest. I think, yeah. And so in terms of Silserpo attacking this fairy tree, it goes against everything that that Resonetta had believed in. And I think actually you would also through your shared memories, you would also know that her real name is Firavelt. Resonetta is the name she adopted because she had lost all of her memories.
Okay. DM, can I take back my lycanthrope transformation? I do apologize. I didn't quite
It's all good.
understand.
I mean, in terms of this, I don't think Resonetta would stop you.
Yeah, no, that's fine with me. If absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
What would you have done instead?
Okay. What's her real name again?
Firavelt. I'll type it in chat here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I shout,
I shout out to her.
Firvelt! Firvelt! Look, I know that we've not known each other long, but I know what is in your heart, but I don't think that Serpo is the same one that you know from before.
Kill
You
the
must
thing
see-
already.
Look, I agree that killing it is not the best idea, but we have to stop it from killing this tree. It is the only chance that these Fae have to live, and for me to find my... You know how important Sherry is to me. We have to compromise. We need something better.
We can't sympathize with an unredeemable monster, especially if it kills the lives of men, women, and children. Let's think about it. If you allow the thing to
please, you
live,
must have some kind of plan. You're smarter than me. You're smarter than all of us.
Well, Resonetta / Firavelt, still hanging on to Silserpo's eye, her mind is racing. She doesn't see any way out of this. And then she remembers the mission that they originally were sent on. She still has the lost cord tucked away in her clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And she remembers that in the Order of Echoes, this lost cord is meant to create a resonance that calms dissonance and allows people to understand and communicate with one another.
Mm-hmm.
So what she does is she whispers under her breath, "Silserpo, forgive me," and she stabs her sword into its eye to get a foothold, so that she has both arms free to pull out the lost cord and begin plucking at it. She's never touched an instrument, so she's just randomly plucking, hoping something will happen.
Right, yeah. And you'll see that the lost cord, it's like this little lyre. It has 3 strings that glow with golden magic. And assuming you pluck one of them, you hear this pure sound emanating farther through the forest than might seem obvious. And everyone listens and pauses. And the snake hisses again, but then calms a bit, and the string itself loses its golden glow as you do so, and you're able to ascertain that there is an intrinsic link between the lily and the darkness that is coming from the fangs and the venom of the snake and has now infected the bark of the tree, and that Silserpo is fundamentally diametrically opposed to the existence of any of the corruption, even though it has seeped its way into it itself, but is also motivated by its hatred of this magic existing, especially channeled through living conduits such as you two, and would be at ease if there were fewer sources of it, and at the same time the madness being that it wants to attack the tree and spread it. So there's this tension going on that relates to the lily's existence in you, and you're able to get a sense that some things would be different if these sources of magic were not clouding the Silserpo's judgment.
Okay. Resonetta will look at her party members and at the rest of the Fae. If there is any way to tie down Silserpo, get it still for but a moment, I think I know what I have to do. Please.
You held her? Get some vines, get some rope, something. Tie her down. Bambi, you're so strong. You're the strongest of us all. Hold her
Fine.
down.
Fine, I'll use my silver chains.
All right, Virgilius, make a strength check.
All right, so I've been in 5 or 6 games, right?
I don't know how many games specifically, but are you using the character tracker?
Yeah, it's like for some reason the character tracker's not showing me.
So if do you see the sessions completed?
Let me see. Character tracker. Okay, so track your character. Okay, so it's like...
Do you see the session? Let me know when you see the sessions completed box.
Sessions completed. Okay, so it's like...
So I
Okay,
don't
so
know. Why don't we say you've completed 5 sessions? So why don't you set it to 5?
Mhm.
And then you'll be able to choose your good skill, which is strength, I believe. And you'll see that you have, if you're set to 5, you have 2 skill upgrades. So assuming you choose both of them for strength, I don't know if that's what you would do, but if that's what you would do, that would give you a D10 for the strength check, which is really good. But it would mean that your other skills are not as developed, right?
Yeah, because I have good skill and a bit of dexterity as well.
Okay, so if you were to give 1 upgrade to strength, you would have another left over for dexterity. So that would give you a D8 on your strength. Does that make sense? Are you seeing that in the character tracker?
Yeah, so let me see.
And then
It's
I
not
think
cool.
your charisma is your bad skill, so you can check bad
Yeah.
for that.
Yes.
So then if that's the case, you'll see a plus D8 above strength, and that's what you'll use for this roll. A D8 in addition to your D20. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let me put... So D8 and a D20?
Yes.
Alright. So there's 7, and then I rolled a 20, right?
Yes.
In total, that's 8.
So you got a 1 on the D20 and a 7 on the D8?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's going to be, so as you are descending the branches, perhaps to a low branch above Silserpo, and you're gathering vines, you're trying to wrap them around the serpent, but he's writhing in response to one of its 6 eyes being stabbed, and it's just practically bursting at the seams of these vines and hissing wildly, and you're not able to quite get a good handle on the serpent, and it knocks you off of a branch, and you fall to the forest floor with a thud.
We should kill this thing. It's making me hungry.
We do not kill.
I don't care what your genocidal god tells you. It deserves to die if it's gonna do this.
This is not about my god. This is about me finishing it.
Then do it, or I'll do it for you.
Resonetta would like to use some of her magic. Actually, you know what? Resonetta will use her magic and will essentially conjure a bigger version of Silserpo to try and get the real version to calm down and sort of coil up in defense.
Holy crap, there's a second one! I was not informed that there would be two of them.
Quite
This
the
is
illusion.
bullshit!
That's gonna be quite the illusion. That's gonna be a perception or charisma check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage is a minus D6?
-4. D4.
Minus D4, okay. All right. I mean, I guess I'll go for charisma, considering I'm trying to intimidate Silserpo.
Sure.
And once again, it's just a straight D20. Come on, baby. Oh, there it goes.
Oh God, please be good. Please.
I will say, actually, Chris, you can use strength for this magic check in this instance because you're using your sword, which is forged of Silserpo's essence. That would have some magical links that might your character might be able to tap into in this case. Although strength is not usually a spellcasting ability, I would allow that if that would help the roll.
I think I just passed with the charisma, but if we want to so I got a 15 on the D20 and a 2 on the D4.
Okay. And
Which
you have
is-
neutral charisma. Yeah, that would pass.
Yeah.
That would pass.
So
Your
we can.
your illusion would be fleeting and difficult to sustain for your concentration and psyche, but you're able to conjure up this image, and with its brief existence, how would you proceed?
Yeah. So I think for flavor, the image that appears is of Silserpo. The image that Resonetta conjures, giant silver snake. I think just for fun, it will have its jaws on the real Silserpo's face, kind of in the same position that my sword is in, considering the sword is made from the fang. And the conjured image lowers the head of the real Silserpo to the ground. I get off and I place my hand essentially on Silserpo's snout, and I just sort of do my best to look it in the eyes, and I say, "For all the suffering you have caused, whether or not it was your intention, it must come to an end. I realize that my people did not. We only thought of ourselves. We only thought of our survival. And for that, on behalf of my kin, I beg your forgiveness, and to let me carry this burden for you." And as she says that, the venom and the corruption that has been tainting Silserpo's scales and body starts to flow into Resonetta. It flows up her arms. It starts staining her very veins black. She starts wincing and crying in pain as it inches further and further up her arm, to her shoulder, to her neck, and then into the lily itself. And Sean will feel a similar sensation. It feels like burning irons running through your veins, through your skin, and going towards that black lily in your chest. This goes on for, I don't know, for 5 minutes. All of this corruption being siphoned out of Silserpo's giant body, flowing into Resonetta by proxy, Sean. And Sean, you get the feeling that this pain would have killed you, would have killed a normal person, if it were just one person. But seeing as how Resonetta is also suffering from this, it's almost like you're sharing this pain. Whatever is happening to Resonetta, you are taking on some of that burden for her. Eventually, the corruption makes its way entirely into Resonetta's body. She has had markings on her. She has had like green stripes around her body. Those have now turned black. And Silserpo's body writhes and then lies still. And before everyone's eyes, it begins to disappear. Little balls of light begin flowing up into the sky, leaving nothing behind but a singular fang that's about as tall, if not taller, than Resonetta. Resonetta collapses to her knees, and she's still writhing. She's still got her arms kind of like hugged around her body. She's still gasping for air. She's still struggling to contain whatever is happening to her. Yeah, Wood.
Sean is matching Resonetta's pain, feeling like his guts are about to pour out of his body. And he looks to Resonetta not with anger, but of empathy. And just complete disbelief that this individual could take on this much pain. And I am beside myself that this is only half of the pain. And I'm grateful that I could halve it for her.
And in fact, as you approach Resonetta, you realize that what at first you thought was half the pain is actually 1/3, and the other third of which is still spreading through the roots of the tree around you.
Are you guys fine? Because we need to stop the venom.
Valti, we need to do more. I'm sorry to say, but we need to do more to help the tree.
And we're gonna need an alternative. You there, fairies.
They several of them are at your beck and call at this point, and run over to you, Virgilius, and help you up off the ground. Yes, sir. What is it?
The venom right there. You wouldn't happen to have cotton absorbers?
I suppose yes. There's a cotton crop not far from here. We have a bit of it in our. Yes, I'll be right back. And they disappear inside the tree, carefully giving a wide berth to this darkness that's spreading. And a few minutes later, come back with a bushel of cotton.
And then drench in the holy water that I have right there.
Okay. What is the vessel that you've been carrying this holy water in?
Basically against impurities such as devils, monsters, and against devils, monsters, or any practical spell right there.
Sure. Yeah. Is it like a like you've been adventuring, right? So is it like a vial of liquid or like a canister? Like what do you?
A canister.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I carry it around, and when on impact on monsters or anything like that, it can either incinerate their souls, or either turn it into particles.
Okay, so they set the cotton down and say, please, by all means, administer the holy water.
And as I pour it over the cotton, I make sure that it flows into there, and the moment that it absorbs in there, the venom would turn into water, like everything else.
And so now that the cotton has been saturated with this holy water, and how are you using the cotton in relation to the branches?
Basically, because when it absorbs it, it turns into water, and the water to replenish the tree.
So your character's place is like what, like rubbing the cotton on the roots of the tree?
Basically, the cotton is absorbed. I put it around like a patch, like a border right there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and as you do so, the although it took all your holy water, the cotton is able to sap up this toxic venom that has infected the tree. You can see that it recedes into this ball of sapping venomous cotton that you now have. The fairies at first are excited by the prospect of the roots returning to the normal shade of brown, and approach the cotton, and then one of them holds the others back, and they cautiously back away and look back at you with a questioning stare, Aurelius.
Don't worry, the venom is no more. Now, had this been on Silserpo would have melted like butter. So if you are a fiend or monster of any kind, I would suggest stepping back. You can use the leftover water to rebuild your tree if you'd like. At the charge of the wish.
Verana, who has determined it's safe for her to descend, has gotten down to the forest floor at this point. A rare feat for the leader of the fairies, and it says, I don't recall making any promises about the wish, but seeing as we owe you a great debt, I will consider your request if I can understand it in more detail.
There is very well. It is a man who wears Eastern clothing. A man who sometimes comes around the middle of a route whenever there's young brides to take up or young virgins. A man who comes at night. A man who comes in with an army of darkness. I'm looking for Count Orlok. Have you seen him? Skin like mine, eyes like mine, teeth as sharp as mine. Although the difference being, he's not as nice as me.
Yes, we've heard of this Count Orlok. Rumors say that he resides in a castle fortress many miles away, and we have been lucky enough to have not had contact with him or his machinations. What is it you seek regarding his
head on a plate?
Noble of you, I'm sure, and we're willing to help as much as we can, but to use the wish we've been afforded is a steep price. And what she does is she takes the flask that you were using and basically unfolds her blindfold and sheds at length a few tears into the vial. It says, please accept this as an alternate reward. These tears have more value than you know, and holier, if you can use that word, than any water you'll find anywhere else. And puts a cap on the flask and hands it over to you.
I'll take this. I'll take this right here.
And
but I will still need the location of him. He's not too far off. sells Serpo's clothes.
She has some of her assistants actually procure another dusty old map that includes faintly, although it's fading, the whereabouts of Count Orlok. Like she said, some distant, many miles away, but conceivably you could get there in the span of a few weeks, if you were intentional. And with that, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and basically offer my gratitude towards another amazing session. I hope you guys enjoyed and found it valuable and fun.
If I could have a quick roleplay moment with the party. Resonetta is still, I guess we're all just sort of sitting in the tree, at the base of the tree, just collecting ourselves. Resonetta is sitting cross-legged. Her arms are wrapped around her body. She's still shaking viciously. In front of her are now 2 swords that are about 7 foot long each. And she's just sort of staring at them. She turns to Virgilius, and she says, "I do not often approve of your dire methods, but you have my gratitude for countering the venom that was left behind."
And I'm often not a fond of methods that are overcomplicated for my taste. But if it means anything, you can have the fairy's tears. You look like you need it more than I do.
I'm not sure what help it will be. The venom I carry is nothing, is beyond any fey magic. It is yours to keep.
Are you sure? We can't go on a journey unless you're crippling.
I will make do. And she turns to Sean. She says, "Elder, of you I beg forgiveness. I did not know this corruption would spread to you when the black lily sprouted. I merely wanted to share my memories. I never intended for you to carry this burden too. And for that, I cannot repent enough."
Through bated breath, Ronnery looks towards.
It is fine, because I understand where you came from. You believed, oh gods, with every ounce of your being that you were in the right. I am sorry that you had to face this truth so badly and so... Oh. But I chose to do this. I made a decision. I am an adult, and it's okay. All is well. I just wish that... Gods, I wish that it didn't hurt so much. But that is life.
I cannot say if it will ever stop hurting. And I would not blame you for carrying resentment for what has happened. This was the only way.
I understand what it's like to bear a burden and to sacrifice time and time again. This,
As I pull down the tunic.
this lily is but another tome of. Sorry, words are hard when you're in this pain. Uh, this is merely just another chapter for our story. I have a solution. You're not going to like it, but I have a solution that might benefit us both.
If it is within your power, I do not see the harm in trying.
But we have to make sure that Vampy will not get too bloodthirsty. Vampy,
Yes.
I am proposing that Frevelt and I both become lycanthropes. That may give us some time to heal, but I am not for sure it will sustain us. The Fae, well, you see how helpful they've been so far.
Yes. So you're saying you want the tears, or you want to turn?
I'm saying I'll take the tome. You keep the tears, you've earned them. Free.
Deal.
Valti, listen. If we do this, we will be cursed as lycanthrope. Are you willing to risk it for that? Or would you prefer the tears?
I would prefer you at your best. So if you would want the tears to cure you, why not take it right now? I'm already dead. I've been dead for a long time. It may not look like it, but I've lived a lifetime compared to you two. I may not look like it. I even had my human self. But that is a story for another day. And besides, it is a repayment for venturing with me. But I also have a quest of myself that has to do with you. The man we are hunting, if you think Serpo or any of the warlords were bad, you have never met this man. This man clearly states about wanting to conquer your entire country with its darkness.
I reach and I grab the tears and I start pouring it on both of us because we're in so much pain I can't take it anymore. And that heals us.
In
Resonetta
fact,
will actually.
the venom will begin to recede from the spots where the tears fall, and within a few minutes, your pain has been eased, and the vial is empty.
I was gonna say Resonetta would actually reel away from the tears after listening to Virgilius and Sean. She reels away and she says, for one thing, I'm pretty sure I have centuries over you, little vampire, but that is beside the point. As strange as it may sound, this pain it's all I have left of Silserpo, of my home, besides these swords. I promise my condition will not hinder our continued adventure.
And for
But-
clarity, I'll say that Sean, you decided to heal yourself first, just arbitrarily, and so your pain has been eased, and Faravel continues to bear the burden. Tears have been used, and I'm afraid that's all the time that I was able to budget for this evening. But
Yeah, sorry I dragged that on a bit long.
I do have one question. Like,
Yes.
we defeated Serpo.
Mm-mm.
What's next?
Well, I'm sure that Virgilius will have a mind to track down the Count Orlok in his fortress. There's also the matter of the Order of Echoes, who may not receive your news so kindly that you decided to allow the New Sternium people to continue protecting the town of Sablewood. Although you did so with mind to the werewolves that were running rampant around the area. But there may be some loose threads regarding the politics between those two nations. And more that I'm still unpacking between, lots has transpired. I'm also open to other ideas or additional ideas you may have if you want to send them to me. I know I don't always answer promptly or at all sometimes, but I do try to read most of what is sent. So I can say that much, and hopefully that's enough to get you excited about the next session. For now, what I can say is I had a really great time. I'm sure that you all did as well. And thank you for your